It can be hard when you feel like you're living a separate life from your husband to keep a strong marriage. It is still possible to show appreciation and make kind gestures even when you are living thousands of miles away. In this video today, I'm going to talk about some things that I do to keep a strong connection with my husband regardless of how far away we are from each other. I know this is a little bit different than my normal content, but I just wanted to talk about how I show my husband I appreciate him even when he is not home. I keep the house pretty well kept while he is away. In fact, it's actually a little bit easier for me to keep a clean house when it's just me and the kids. The kids are pretty messy, but when you throw a husband into the mix, it's like a third kid. If you know, you know. One thing I do that may not seem like a very big deal to many is make sure that my husband comes home to a sparkling clean house. And yes, I know men can be messy and they can be used to living in dirty conditions compared to what we as women hold standards to, but I will say they do notice when you put out the effort to make sure that the house is clean when they come home, regardless of whether they think they care that much about how dirty or clean the house is, because they probably really don't. It's the thought that they care about. They care about the fact that while they are away bringing in the money and supporting the family, that you are not at home sitting on your butt doing nothing, and you are still taking care of the daily duties that need to be done, and of course giving a clean and healthy environment for your children to live in. So when they come home to that sparkling clean house, the first thing that they're going to think is that you were doing a great job of taking care of the home and the children while they are away, and it helps them know that they can trust you to be the homemaker that you are supposed to be while they are out there being the family supporter that they are supposed to be. If you haven't noticed already, I do have pretty old-fashioned values as far as when it comes to women and men and their duties in the world. That doesn't mean that I don't think women can't do a lot of the things that men do, because I am often doing a lot of things that are usually manly things, especially with my husband being gone, but I just believe that as a woman, it is my duty to do all of the cleaning and cooking and housekeeping. That way my husband doesn't have to after he gets home from a hard day, a hard week, or even a hard couple months at work. So that's just one of the things that I really like to do before my husband comes home, to just show him my appreciation for what he does. Another thing I like to do is do a little bit of grocery shopping and make sure that he comes home to a full fridge. That way I can cook nice meals for him when he comes home. A lot of times when it's just me and the kids at home, we don't cook extravagant meals. Usually we'll just have small meals because they don't eat a lot and I don't eat a lot. So when he's gone, typically the fridge is pretty empty. So I like to go out and do a little bit of shopping, get him his coffee creamer and some of his favorite foods. That way he can come home and feel like he's at home without having to really do any work for it, like go to the store before he comes home or even after he comes home. I just like to make him feel like he almost never left. Typically after a day of working, my husband is pretty exhausted from working long hours and being up very early. So while I do have a lot of stressful things going on in life, especially being that I am here alone trying to take care of everything, I try not to burden him with those stresses unless I absolutely have to, because a lot of times the stuff that I'm stressing about can wait till another day when he's well rested, maybe on a weekend, and can actually take the time to think about how he can help me without absolutely stressing him out even more. I know sometimes our problems can feel very big, but when you look at the bigger picture and think about the things that he may be going through, sometimes it's better to just save our problems for another day and just try to navigate through them on our own. That way, we don't end up causing tension with our husband and getting into unnecessary fights, because it's not fun to be in an argument with somebody who's thousands of miles away. Another thing I like to do anytime I have the chance or am thinking of it, I will just send my husband a nice text message just reminding him of how much I appreciate what he's doing, because I know it is not easy for him to be so far away from his family and his children and his home. He has to live somewhere else for several weeks at a time, and I can only put myself in his shoes and think about how hard that would be to be away from my kids and my own home. So I think it's very important to remind him time and time again how much I appreciate the sacrifices that he is making for our family. It can be hard sometimes not to get upset when he is doing something on his off time and not necessarily paying attention to me, but I do also have to remind myself that he has to do things to pass the time where he is, and it's not necessarily that he's ignoring us, it's just that he has to do something other than sit around the house and just wait for time to pass on his off time. So that is one thing to keep in mind, is if you sometimes find yourself getting frustrated or annoyed that maybe you're stuck at home sitting around doing nothing and you're not able to talk to him because he's out doing something fun to pass the time, that it's not really worth getting upset over, because there's plenty of times where we are the ones that are out doing something to try to pass the time while he's out there working hard. It can be hard to feel connected when you are so far away, but again, there's so many different things you can do to keep that connection, and a lot of these things that I've talked about already definitely help with that. But sometimes maybe you want to show something a little more physical that you can feel and see. And what I mean by that is, one time I actually surprised my husband by ordering him coffee and having it delivered to the house he was staying at, because he was out of coffee creamer or something like that, and he was going to have to go to the store to get coffee. But I kind of stalled him, and I actually had door dashed some coffee to his house, and it was a very big surprise, something very small, but it was a very good surprise, and it made him very happy. And it just goes to show that something as small and simple as ordering somebody a cup of coffee and having it delivered to them, it can make their day and help them to have a much better day. You could also send them a care package in the mail with some of their favorite snacks, maybe some love notes, or something from home that will remind them of home and make them feel like they are at home. Now that I've completely reset my house, I've swept and mopped all the floors, cleaned the kitchen, made our bed, and picked up anything else that needed to be picked up. I am ready for my husband to come home. He will actually be getting in very late this night that I am making the bed here, and he will get to come home and sleep in clean sheets and walk into the door to a fresh and clean smelling house. And I just think that it is such a nice gesture to be able to do that for him. I know that he's not gonna walk in the door and say thank you for cleaning the house or thank you for putting these fresh sheets on the bed. And that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for him to notice, and even if he never says anything about it, I know that he will notice and he will be happy about it. And that's just why one of the things that I like to do before he comes home is just do a complete house reset and make sure that everything is nice and clean and tidy and comfortable for him. It's the least he deserves after being gone for weeks at a time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this inspired you to do something nice for your husband or significant other who may work thousands of miles from home, and just help them feel appreciated. Whether it's something that you're doing before they come home to welcome them home, or something that you're doing while they're still away. I hope this was inspirational for anybody who is going through something similar. If you like my videos, please like and leave me a comment and let me know what you think. And make sure to subscribe if you want to see more.